Excelsior!
All right, welcome to part 4, and I do believe we will be wrapping up
the final chapter.
The final chapter of just the heroes, though. There are still like 100 more of these cards.
We talked about doing it in one, but one video would have been an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So
a beautiful hour and a half.
It's to make you maybe feel less intimidated to read about all these cards.
Blame Comcast, blame YouTube. But either way, check out all 4 videos. Thanks you guys. But without further ado, the cards. Wow,
finally,
it took this long to get to Iron Man?
He wasn't that popular,
Iron Man
man.
was nobody, man.
Yeah, in the shadow of She-Hulk or something.
Yeah, I never understood what that's supposed to
Pepper?
be.
What's the deal?
Like, yeah, Pepper.
Yeah, I think that's an AI that was working with him at the time.
But like, yeah, as a kid when I saw this, I was like, "Is he trapped? Like, he looks like he's hung up by his arms."
Crucified.
Yeah,
he just recovered from his alcoholism and got his company back from Zebediah Stane. That at this point he wasn't that cool. Like Iron Man wasn't that cool. I would go like Iron Man. I guess I'll play as him in the Avengers arcade game.
Yeah, I like under his arch enemies. I think you'll see why the Marvel Cinematic Universe has such a hard time finding him someone to fight.
Yeah, well, they're either guys in metal costumes or an evil Asian man, like
or Crimson Dynamo.
That's a dude. That's the Russian in a suit.
I kept waiting for him to show up in one of the movies because of any of the other people in suits, Crimson Dynamo is the one that I know.
I actually don't remember that trivia. Iron Man provides funds to repair the damage caused by superhero villain battles.
Oh, that's interesting. I guess, yeah, in the
he cleans up after himself.
In Damage Control, I do believe they explain that like Stark is one of their funders, I think, and they're the team that cleans up cities. But yeah, he just wasn't that cool. But that though, I do also arch my eyebrow at that his suit is not powerful enough for 100 tons.
We should keep note. Does anybody lift any less than 100 tons
100
anymore?
tons seems to be like
the magic number.
The magic number. They don't.
Yeah. Even the cards later when they do the meters, the 100 is like the 10 out of it. You don't go really over that.
But yeah, Stark just wasn't that popular now. Back in 1990, just man, it's crazy to think. Again, in 2008, before his movie came out, I never thought Iron Man would be the most popular.
I didn't love him until the Data East arcade game, because I Captain America and his Avengers, and like, no, this Iron Man character can fly and shoot bolts. This is the best character of all time. Until we get to this character, I spoke too soon.
Yeah, there we go. Invisible Woman. She had taken on the name Invisible Woman by this point.
Yeah.
And again, she first appeared in #1, but they still didn't know much to do with her. She had not been identified as easily the most powerful member.
Yeah,
of the
like
team
she's creating that force field, and I think it wasn't until I started rereading comics in the 2000s, like, oh yeah, she can create that within people's bodies and heads and threaten them, like.
And it's almost unbreakable.
Yeah.
Like, it takes a lot of force to break it. And
she has lethal abilities rather than protective abilities.
But she also isn't a killer, so you don't get to see that.
Is there a what is she lifting right there?
I guess I would have to assume she's helping Reed with something. He's like, could you grab that for me? She's like, sure.
Yes, I'll use my magic abilities to wave it over to you.
Honey, could you bring me my Transformer?
It's not my favorite haircut of hers either. I like her hair a little longer.
Well, speaking of that.
It's 1990 that she's definitely lifting a cell phone.
Speaking of her hair, Henry, her Did You Know is about how much she loves changing her hair.
She's so fashionable.
I mean, look at her profile. She's even got her hand up like, hey.
And I'm just taking notice here. Her arch enemies, in addition to Johnny Storm, she has exclusively Psycho Man.
Well, he was known for messing with her head the most because obviously women and their emotions are easier to deal with.
Oh, yeah.
When you say messing with her head, you mean like a bad haircut.
Oh, yeah.
But she was it was implied in one comic once she murdered Psycho Man off screen. They retcon that, but she Psycho Man messes with her family, and she then turns into Mama Bear mode and takes him into a dark room, and she's like, and then she leaves. She's the only one that leaves. She's like, I fixed him, or whatever. Right? So Psycho Man definitely deserves to be on that list at this point in time. Now it's pretty much a forgotten moment, but it was a big moment at that point.
All right, and we'll go back to the front, and then go to our next card. We are nowhere close to
So-
done.
It's Punisher's van.
Yeah,
It's not even Punisher.
Not Punisher yet. They put his van first in the card
Does van
set.
get to be first? That's like in Microchip, I would guess is inside that
Man,
van.
if you would have told me famous superhero vehicles, I don't think I'd ever come up with Punisher's battle
Which
van.
is strange though, because they don't. We had Cap's motorcycle, and then this van. You'd think and I think season 2 actually has a equipment / vehicles section.
Yeah.
But this first set is just
It's a Ford.
I don't know.
It's a pretty cool van.
So-
I mean, as a kid, sometimes I would dream of man, if I had a van, I'd have all this cool stuff in it. It'd be
Yeah.
like I could drive around with all my stuff.
So what's strange also is how there have been Dodge, Harley, and Ford, and they didn't ask for any of this.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
They just wrote it in a card and
Yeah.
nobody noticed.
It's
My
crazy.
only requirement was that there be no Japanese vehicles.
The 90s feels so recent to me, and yet this is such an informal time still of them just saying like, yeah, Ford, whatever. Like, we'll publish it on a card and sell it. Like, they're not going to sue us. They
And
will
I
read
guess
this
in their
card.
defense, if they were to ask now, those companies would fall over backwards trying to
Yeah.
please
Yeah.
them. Of course, you can use our car.
And as I mentioned before, the Techno Wizard microchip is inside that van, and he's Microchip has died and been reborn to be killed again by the Punisher.
And this van, you can currently see being driven by exclusively pedophiles.
By a
Oh my God!
Good old four-fingered
Somebody-
long shot there.
Somebody
Count 'em.
doesn't belong here.
4 fingers. He was pretty cool at that point.
Really?
Yeah,
I-
he had his own X-Men toy. Like
Yeah.
he got his own toy. He's
not
he-
when these cards came out, but
Who
No.
the fuck is Longshot? Jesus
he's
Christ!
from the Mojoverse. His powers like create like
And
good,
why does he
creates
have an
luck.
anime
I know,
profile?
yeah, it's
good
Yeah.
luck.
weird.
Yeah, that art is strange.
Oof, not
for-
into
I'll
that art.
see
That's
you
Art
on
Adams,
Cowboy
too, I'd
Bebop.
say.
Yeah, wow.
forgot
But yeah,
it.
I mean, he's Mojo. Like he's in a reality show, like a perpetual running man, where he has to constantly survive, and then but his mutant ability is good luck or fortune in favor of him. So, like,
And he would throw daggers around.
yeah, and always like make the shot, hence the name.
With amazing agility, acrobatic stunts,
super duper
power.
agility. And again, 4 fingers because
But dude,
that's
look,
that is in Marvel
He's
World.
the most recent addition to the Marvel
Yeah.
canon as far as these cards go.
Well,
I
Cosmic
would've-
Spider-Man was 1990.
Oh,
I
that's
would have
true.
thought he'd first appeared in
suit,
an
though.
X-Men book, but instead in his own #1. That's impressive.
Wow,
they
yeah,
really
huh.
they really believed
Looks
in
like
this
they were
guy.
really pushing this. Were they?
And Spiral, who
really
people
took.
would know from the Marvel vs. Capcom games.
Yeah.
Beast.
Yeah.
Finally,
Ooh, that face is off to me.
Wow.
I don't know. It's too human, even
Both
for
of
them.
them. Both of like the lower
Yeah.
left looks like Bela Lugosi.
I mean, he wasn't the
Muad'Dib.
Catman yet
Him.
by this point, but he had more of a face by that time.
a
But
blue and furry hero.
also, not a lot of info for him at this time. I
No.
guess he was in X Factor because again, all the original X-Men were all 5 original X-Men members of X Factor this time.
Which the X Factor was the government sanctioned. Well, if you're gonna be a mutant team,
Wow, he shares nicknames with 2 of you guys. I got Hank and I
Yeah.
got Furry.
Hey,
He's
come
Henry
on,
McCoy. It's
Italian.
true.
it's because of the hair, not the furry obsession.
Okay.
And I guess in X Factor this time, his only archenemy was Apocalypse. I think.
Well,
later.
yeah, the 80s, it was like X Factor, there was only one villain, and it is Apocalypse.
And yeah, he kind of ran X Factor ragged for a while. What's his? What did you know there?
It's-
Oh yes, that's
his
how
origin.
I didn't know as a kid that he wasn't always furry and
Yeah.
blue until reading that. 'Cause
He
he,
looks so dumb in the first X-Men.
Yeah.
Being just
he was just
a
a guy
big
with big
oaf.
feet. Like I'm an oaf with big feet, but I'm
gotta-
smart.
I gotta give a shout out to those butt cheeks though, like
Ooh, yeah.
like the clenching,
Tenacious.
Quite a
the,
define on
the
there.
strength buttocks are
Is
well
he,
defined.
Is he in the same danger room as Nightcrawler?
Ooh, I
He's
wonder if
just
you could
reading a
piece them
book?
together like the back of a Garbage Pail Kid. Next hero. There he is,
There.
finally. Why did your fucking vehicle show up first?
Grimace.
What is
That
this
is
car?
that looks like a copy pasted head.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
not
feel like
great.
that maybe is a redrawn head. Maybe it looked worse the first time, and then another artist like erase.
Yeah, it looks like how you draw Voldemort if he was a teenage heartthrob.
Also, that gun is just like that's kind of a wimpy gun for
Yeah.
Punisher. Even in '90, like I feel like he'd have a cooler gun than that, like a big fat Magnum or something.
Yeah.
Instead of like, but clearly he just used it to probably shoot a bunch of drug dealers in the
But
face.
like I don't know how they describe Punisher lately in toys or online or whatever. But I mean, here is a card meant for a 10-year-old. They're like,
Yeah.
hey, his family was murdered by mobsters in the Crossfire. Don't be scared, kids. It could happen anywhere. Like, and then
that's
this
a neat-
guy gets snaps and decides he's going to kill everyone.
That's nice trivia, though.
His
that he's
own
a
lethal
fugitive.
brand of justice. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Like the criminals he hunts, Punisher
born
himself.
Castiglione.
Oh yeah.
What does that
Right,
mean
that-
in your native tongue?
Castiglione. I think I got it right.
The castle.
Highest win percentage we have seen
Yeah.
so
I mean,
far.
Though only
Mostly he shoots drug dealers.
122 fights, though.
I think
like-
it's his like, and this is true to the Punisher. his lack of ability to tie. Look at that.
Yeah.
There are no ties.
Well,
draws.
the two ties are Kingpin and Jigsaw.
Now, let me tell you, Punisher was more popular this time than he ever was. He had 3 solo books at this time. Punisher, Punisher War Journal, and Punisher War Zone. That much. And that's when he still barely interacted with other superheroes. And he also has few arch enemies. Jigsaw is the only one he doesn't murder on first of meeting.
All right, I don't know if he fits as like the league leader in Marvel, because like in baseball, to be like if you have like 2 hits during the entire season but you only had 4 at bats, you're not the hitting leader. You have to have like 300 or 400 at bats. So he's only had 122 fights, whereas like Silver Surfer had thousands and thousands. So I don't know if you can say he's the winning.
That's like
person.
Cal Ripken versus rookie year Dale Murphy.
Did you make all that up?
Those are
Cal
real
Ripken
baseball
is
players.
We blew all this wide open. I can't believe the scandal we found.
The scoundrel scandal.
Come on.
Next card. Storm.
Now
Another Storm.
that's the good Storm. I must have
forgot about
remembered
this.
this card from in here too.
Yeah.
I believe she shaved her head into a mohawk when she briefly lost her powers and just became a street punk beating up
And
guys.
then she may still have it as of this recording, because she got it back like a year ago, I think.
Yeah, I think she still has it.
Oh, yeah. See, actually, they say it exactly there. During the time she wore this, their mutant power to control the weather was accidentally destroyed by the mutant inventor Forge. Despite her loss, she continued to lead the X-Men, relying on her daring and wits and ongoing struggle against evil, and proving that it was never the superpowers that made her the hero, but her courage.
It's a good point, that she led the X-Men like that.
Yeah, it was a big-ass deal when she took over the X-Men. I remember it was one of the most collectible issues I had at the time of X-Men, was the one where she fights Cyclops for the right to be the leader and beats him, and he quits and leaves.
Speaking of which, we have not seen Cyclops yet. Except for behind the card. I understand.
That's true. But White Queen, Magneto, those are all the same, her usual villains.
Elektra.
Ooh, at this point she had been reborn. She had died and come back, and Elektra lives. I don't know if this is when she's a Skrull or not. I don't know, but she had been brought back by the Hand.
I hate this art.
I would say that's another Mark Bagley. I believe so. But hey, again, I like this like the Luke Cage ones from the previous video. You're seeing guys she's fighting in this shot too. It's not just a hero shot. Yeah, you're seeing her do stuff, which is kill ninjas.
But yeah, even nachos.
But again, even reading this as a kid, you get that sense of like so much history has already happened. Where the did you know is she's already died and come back. Like what? So does death matter in this world? Like I don't understand.
Again, one of the few characters like to launch after 1980.
Wow.
I guess technically she was brought back by the heroic efforts of Daredevil, but it was more the Hand rebirthing her to make her again work for them.
So they do have anti-heroes in here because their arch enemies listed as Daredevil.
Yeah, she was definitely in the anti-hero realm at this point. She didn't have her own book yet.
I was strange to not even qualify her as a hero or a villain, but anti-hero doesn't seem right either.
I can't think of the right word.
Yeah, I can't because like she's not
kind of kills.
She's not Tony Soprano.
Like
she's like
she has her own agenda.
Yeah,
she's kind of like Ada Wong, I'd say, in a way, from Resident Evil.
Maybe.
Let's see, raised by the Hand, died by the Hand. Next card.
And rounding out the heroes.
Oh man, we're almost. There's no Cyclops in here.
We're almost done. I'm kind of surprised by that.
Really?
That is strange. I guess we'll see him on the X Factor team card, but
Cloak.
Cloak,
baby.
Cloak of Cloak and Dagger.
Kind of I get the black and white background of Checkers. I get it because Cloak and Dagger, black and white. That is their theme, but. I don't know. It feels kind of lazy. I feel like he should be in on the streets in an alleyway beating up some punks.
I guess it's supposed to also sort of symbolize the
not in the 1950s diner,
the pocket dimension inside of his body or whatever.
Yeah. That's
the whole
true.
idea is he would people would fall in or he would pull people in. And he has no corporeal body, so you fall in his cloak and you experience like all the terror and fear that you've inflicted on others or something.
Yeah,
it probably says
his
right
bio
there.
says it's like his powers are basically a bad drug trip.
Yeah, and then Dagger's power is to remove that. So the idea is like they're all both their powers are based off drug addiction and treatment.
Look at the did you know his hunger for light energy of human souls can only be controlled by partner Dagger.
Yeah. There's a great moment in Infinity Gauntlet when they distract Thanos long enough for him to fall in cloak, and everyone's like, Can you hold him? And he's like, I think I explodes.
Yeah, that's one of Cloak's best / worst moments.
His best moment.
And he's an 80s hero because he now uses these powers to take revenge on drug dealers.
Yeah.
No,
R.I.P. Nancy Reagan.
I love Tyrone. I love Tyrone.
He's a great character.
He just had a great appearance in Amazing Spider-Man. as their powers were reversed. When he was hit with Mr. Negative's powers, he then turned his cloak turned white, while Dagger's costume turned black.
I remember that.
Boy, I want to see Cloak battle Mr. Jip.
Yeah, I gotta look into this Mr. Jip guy.
You've been gypped.
Is that the last card?
No, there's at least
there's one
at
more
least
card,
one more.
and it's not Cyclops. It is
Wow,
a Wasp.
Janet Van Dyne's costumes are so hard to keep track
Dude,
of.
they are all over the place because this one I don't
Well,
even think I've seen.
Her Did You Know is actually about her costume.
Oh, is it? Wasp.
She never wears the same one twice.
There you go. It's a
Yeah.
rarity for her to wear the same outfit twice. Buy them all.
But that's a clever card to imply like she's tiny.
Yeah.
Like but you need to see her close up, but you need items for scale, like the pencil there and the paper. I like that.
Marvel was smart. Yeah, you could probably have launched like a Wasp line of like girls' toys where she just had different outfits all the time.
Yeah, if they
In the 80s, not now.
I think they only recently realized girls would buy toys of superheroes.
Yeah, Wasp kind of rules.
And then the one Wasp figure I got in the Marvel Legends line is not very good.
No.
It's not. It's none of her classic costumes. It's a very 2000s era costume.
Whirlwind ahead of Ultron just doesn't feel right to me on our nemesis list.
Yeah.
Though when Janet was first written, to read her original appearances, to just roll your eyes constantly of like
real bad.
Yeah, she all she talks about is fashion and how cute every superhero she meets is. But by this point, she had already been a leader of the Avengers. In the mid '80s, on the Roger Stern era of the Avengers, she was the leader of the team and a good one at that. So. At this point, she kind of had scaled back, though. She wasn't the leader. Cap took back over. But, Janet Van Dyne's been good. She's also died and come back since this appearance. So technically, she never died. She went to the microverse, so she never had a corpse.
Also, the way that the art is synced up right now, it looks like Wolverine's arm turns into a magnifying glass.
That's true, man.
And I just want to get everybody sad now that we're at the end of the heroes portion of this little project that you'll never see Wolverine and Captain America standing next to one another on screen. Never.
Maybe when we're 80,
especially now with the
Disney
Fantastic
owns
Four
every
character.
company.
You don't see them ever.
Yeah, well, that wraps up the heroes portion of this. Who knows? We might do some more. We don't have any plan per se, but we have another video of the superheroes in the Marvel card set.
God,
In
all
order,
these-
baby.
This has been a great trip down memory lane.
We still
I
have
love
villains. There's rookies. There's team
Milestones.
pictures, famous battles. There's all kinds of stuff from this set.
this.
That,
167 cards in the first
that
set.
we can talk about.
And again, if we didn't hammer that point, like this made us fall in love with the Marvel universe. At least the people.
Everything
in this
we
room.
talk about on Cape Crisis or random laser time asides, it all comes from literally this set.
Yeah,
this is what
anything I
started
know
all
about someone's alter ego or their origins are
was
primarily. I wasn't reading the 1963 Tales to Astonish to learn Wasp.
I read it recently. So.
Before TV shows and social media, this was how Marvel dispensed its information to fans.
Yeah.
Well, that is it for us.
Good on you.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. Check out the other videos. Peace.